What was it kicked the whole thing off for you?
Walking back into this little bit of the church property that had been neglected and kind of hidden away, and I had heard about this Tsawwassen Cedar grant project, so I realized we could do something with it right here. It had sheds that hadn't been opened for a long, long time. They were full of things that the church didn't need anymore. You know, I could see the space, but it required a lot of work. It was covered in weeds and covered in ivy.
I think the plan then is to have a sort of an entrance for people who come to the church. They would come down the side here and come into a meditative space, quiet space, with a walk through leading up to what was previously very overgrown. Just bringing more light into the space, more visibility to an area that was really quite dark and enclosed.
Their traditional garden of Indigenous people of Canada, particularly the prairies, they have the four aspects: north, south, east, and west, and those are tied to various things. We're working with the Tsawwassen First Nation, and they've put us in touch with one of the native plant gardens in North Vancouver, where they have more information, so we'll make it very specific to this part of the world.
What we are doing is linked to mark number 5 of the Anglican 5 marks of mission, which talks about safeguarding the integrity of creation. So I believe when we complete this garden, it will be just an addition to God's creation, because we are going to have indigenous plants and we are going to be tending the environment as is required by the mark of mission. And I believe a lot of people will also be able to learn that even a small space that you have can be used to the glory of God.
Yeah, we have some parishioners who could step in on an as-needed basis, but yeah, it's just become a regular Saturday morning event for us. It's we just show up at 10, we see who's here. Usually it's 3 or 4 of us, and we just plug away. So we're not really forcing ourselves to a timeline. We're just working with the resources that we have.
I think we'll find there's more people coming now. It's starting to take place, but also the weather has changed.
Yeah.
We had a very cold last few months,
Yes.
and it's not something that appeals to people to come out in the real cold weather.
And I guess if you build it and they will come,
Yeah.
and momentum will happen. We had similar with the garden over here, do we call it Jubilee Garden?
The community garden.
The community garden, we started very small and had that built, and there's synergies between this and that. And as it starts to look like a garden and be utilized, and people will develop an interest and contribute.
So this is the main hub of focus right now, and it'll work its way up the side to a native woodland garden.
Yeah.
We are having a workshop led by Leona Brown on healing plants, making salves, and hopefully by then we're sort of thinking we would be able to then say the garden is officially open.
So I think once the tidying, the planting and the tidying is done, it'll just be general maintenance, and I think then we can maybe really hone in on the plants, see which plants are working, maybe fine tune it a bit after that.
We've used both the grants available for the church. We've used the Tsawwassen Cedar grant for the Indigenous garden, and then we also took advantage of the climate emergency grant.
Well, maybe just look for a neglected area of the garden that's not too large to be overwhelming, that you could maybe make a little difference in, whether it's growing some food, growing some native plants, or providing some space for pollinators.
We are open for people who would want to come and learn, and we can also learn from others, I think, by comparing notes of what they are doing and what we are doing.